As Jacob falls asleep on his stone pillow, he dreams. And God comes near. What does Jacob see? He sees in his dream a stairway to heaven. And hears Led Zeppelin playing softly in the background, maybe. But I doubt it. He sees a stairway. Now, I realize that the more familiar term is Jacob's ladder, but actually, stairway is a more accurate translation. In fact, we find the same phrasing back a few chapters in the story of the Tower of Babel in chapter 11. But see, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between those two stories, and there's a big difference between how those two staircases functioned. The difference, of course, is that while the Tower of Babel was built by human hands in order to elevate humanity to the place of God, the stairway in Jacob's dream is built by God's hands, and it extends down to us. And that's a big difference. There's a big difference. As a matter of fact, it's a difference that makes me think about the difference between religion and the gospel. Religion is all about how human beings get to God. And the gospel is the truth that God actually comes to us. So God builds a stairway from heaven down to earth, to this nowhere place, to a nobody who has nothing, to a lost young man who has made a complete mess of his life. And there above the stairway stood the Lord. And he said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. You know, what God does here is astounding. This gets back to this certain place, this random place. People at that time believed that the gods resided in certain places, religious places. There were places that gods were expected to be. Temples and holy sites and shrines and altars. And it occurs to Jacob, as God encounters him when Jacob is least expecting it, it occurs to Jacob that this God is different. This God is different. This God speaks to people at certain places along the way, along the path, along the journey. It's not significant places where God comes into view. It's at random places. And that makes those places special. This God doesn't need temples, doesn't need holy sites, doesn't need rituals. This God will speak to anybody, anytime, anywhere. This God always moves toward us first and always invites us into relationship. Actually, Jesus himself in the New Testament makes reference to this very story that we read. In John 1, as he was recruiting Nathanael to be one of his 12 disciples, he said to Nathanael, "You will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man." Now there's something really important to catch here. An important difference between the Jacob staircase story and this information that Jesus is sharing with Nathanael. And the thing to catch is the change of position that has taken place. See, God is no longer at the top of the staircase or hovering over the staircase in general. Now God is at the bottom. Now God is here with us. He's dressed in the rough clothes of our humanity. He's no longer restricted to an awesome and otherworldly revelation of his glory. No, he's one of us. Now, Jesus reveals here that he is not only God made flesh who has come to seek and to save what is lost. He is also the stairway itself, the stairway into the presence of God.